And then we'll. All right. Jumpstart this again. That's fine. I can stand. We'll jumpstart this again here. We had the blowout with the lightning. That crashed the party, which was fun and fine. Now we got to see how we add in here. Let's see, share screen. Here we go. All right, so we were about there, right? We've gone through the golden ticket. I think maybe where we're cut off, right?
So I think Shelby got cut off, yeah.
Yeah, so we were showing you that.
I was asking if you knew exactly what Shelby was, and then you were breaking it down.
So we took Shelby, the guy who, kind of reimagined with Ford, right? And had the snake as the logo, and took that and made it into shells with bees, right? So my sister reimagined or redesigned. I gave her prompts, effectively, and she turned it into the turtles coming out of the shells and out of their shells, right? With the bees in the mix there, right? So we try to play with that and have some fun. And that was the end of some of the stickers getting done, which is kind of fun as well. So, we kind of ran with that with her. And so my mom, I had her do an independent one in the back, and my aunt actually has one that's in the back of the car. My brother did this, so it's kind of fun and playful, and then we got, so effectively, like you said, it's almost like tagging in the car, right? How do you describe it again?
I said it looked like flash tattoos.
Yeah.
Like a straight sleeve of this patchwork.
Which also is cool because with that flash of lightning, so it all actually works out quite nice, right? So it's fun. It's like my mom drew this a long time ago, in like art class or just messing around, and then I had my mom's husband, Chris A, he took it and he drew himself just in general. I asked him to draw a guy and he drew that. And so I had this projection to reflection. He just did this recently, right? So it was kind of fun to play with, that in relationships and, how we all are and see each other. So obviously this will all be black on the front, but my mom did this and my sister helped generate and drive the iterations for the things coming in and out, almost like a ship, if you will, right? So these are like vessels. Everyone has their own interpretation of it. This snake she made, which is cool. It almost looks like infinity. It's not eating its own tail. My grandpa, he'd actually made my mom a book as to how to do art. She found again recently, at least some of his tips and tricks, right? And so we put these guys there. It's a little bit of a pirate play, right? So have fun with that. He used to do stuff for, Christopher Columbus, for a bunch of random art. So he was a doctor, but did art.
Really?
So it was nice to see that he was able to keep and preserve, the stuff that he liked to do and kept creating his whole life, which people like myself have at times lost for long durations of time, right? So that's the side leaning sunlight.
I mean, you said your daughter did that one?
Which one?
Or no, the artist, the one who's upstairs right now, no?
Oh, Boy Kong did this one, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was his thing. So it's a side leaning like sunline, I call it. But so these will be on the wheels and they look back toward one another. So the backs are turned, the head looks back. So there's always a connection. There's always something there if you so choose to reconnect, right? So those will be on the wheels. So the snakes will go obviously inside and outside. These guys are less pronounced. They're on the door jams. They're here. And you're kind of just playing with that evolution of it, right? So this is the top. My daughter drew these two. This one, I'm not sure where we're putting it yet because we shifted the design, but this, and then Pablo's daughter, like yesterday, showed him, and it almost just looked like what my daughter had done with the sea turtles. So we're like, well, we got to incorporate that. So we've shifted the design and put this and the other one there on top on the moonroof, right? So when you do an overview of it, you'll be able to see kind of that creation that's underneath there, and that, next iteration, which actually is kind of where we're gonna roll with this, is the next iteration is his idea. So it's going to be this colorful pop stuff, but tell him what you had imagined when we were discussing kind of what the next version of this could be. Yeah, the map.
Oh yeah.
Like a treasure map. You get the pirates there. So how did you envision the map? So you heard that I'd been around to a bunch of places and had a bunch of experiences, but you do too, and you have also.
Yeah.
So what prompted it?
Well, I think it was just like how many stories you were telling me and how, everything's somehow connected to each other. And I thought it'd be cool if you're willing to do another wrap, like your whole car could be almost just like a giant map. And if it'd be cool if like one thing led to, you got to follow this trail, and like that leads you to the back of the car, and then the back of the car leads you now to the middle of the car, and the middle of the car leads you to like the dash, and like it's just stories that lead into each other, but it's like a revolving door of just stories.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
And that's what we're going to do. So, V3 has now gone on its own path, and that's the whole fun. I would not have conceptualized that. It could not have, but when we were all chatting about it, he came up with it, and from there it evolves, right? It's not stationary. It's not stagnant. It's this moving flow if you let it be. And that's the whole fun of it all, right? So let's see. we can bust the other one out here. So, this is just a play, again, more tattooing. It says see now, seek now, seek no. And then there's a little E and an S, if you want to interpret it that way. The E is kind of that, lower exponential kind of energy is the idea of that, right? So you got the big E's, the ones that are different, kind of sorted and controlling and larger. But then you got the little guys who got a lot of potential, right? So appreciate the little guy, right?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what the exponents are all about, right? You got to raise those things up to have more fun. So this is what, so you saw the one iteration that my sister created and my mom did this one, right? And as
Another
you see, there's that
each.
shell over there. She'd never seen that before, but she picked that shell.
Really?
It's like a near match to that, right? And then she drew the bee on it. My sister did this when she was in Europe, it's fun and it's playful, right? And so, she took, the girls took this side of the car, my two sisters, right? So my other sister, she did that.
Oh, shoot.
So like,
I didn't see that
it
one.
turned into a real feature,
Yeah.
like it was not fully expected, but it was a damn good and lucky thing to have happen. So we got
For real.
like a kind of fun and playful snake in that. We got this one kind of also posturing back and forth with him, so it just gives it a lot of cool interplay, and you get this blossoming kind of situation here, and what otherwise could be construed as a dark side, but it's not viewing it as dark. It's just a little different and maybe misunderstood. Again, that's going to be cropped, here. But it's, we grow, like discussed, when we go through some of the hard times, it's not the most fun doing it, but when you go
That's
through
where the
those,
most growth is
Yeah.
found.
yeah, it's like a seed, right? So,
Mhm.
you learn a lot about yourself and those around you then, right? So this kind of prompted some stuff because it actually ended up looking like a mirror. So we watched Snow White last night, and then there's a whole
Okay.
bunch of premises and thoughts that come from that, which are kind of cool. We was hanging out with Boy and Avi, who works with him, and we saw this bird, and so he recreated it one night in Sumi ink. And so like a few of these drawings, this is in Sumi ink, right? So kind of he showed us how to do Sumi ink one day when they came to visit.
Mhm.
And then now when I go around and I travel, and me and my kids will all do kind of some Sumi ink stuff. So that little booklet you saw that I brought over there,
Right.
I can show it to you. And I'll show you the one that you will put on the top.
Oh, wow.
That was actually the one right there. That
Very
we then took it and converted it. And so that's just playing with Sumi ink, which is like really fun Japanese style ink.
Where's the pen for that?
I can show it to you. You can try it afterward, actually. I have it. And
It
Boy
reminds
can-
me of one that I used to have. It's a water. It fades away after a while, but it had
Yeah.
that same texture. I don't know if it's a Japanese book as well, that you dip it in water and the tip of the pen
Mhm.
just brushes onto the canvas, and then after I think like 5 or 10 minutes, it fades away and you just.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think like honestly, he's super good at like showing it. He showed my daughter how to do with pandas, and he brought her back a little panda, my son a shark, because he did like spray paint with him in the backyard of a shark. And so like he's been so cool and instrumental in helping us explore, a lot. And so, I mean, honestly, like, yeah, I think there should be some pages and stuff in here anyway. You should try it out with him like when we can,
Sure.
because it's so cool. It's almost like, the way he conveys it is way cooler than me, but when you kind of mix that carbon into the water, it's kind of like an energy conveyance. So it becomes kind of part of you. You can watch some videos on it. It's pretty interesting to see the rationale.
never heard
thought
of it
process
before.
behind it. Super
Sumi.
cool, but I do have it in the bag. I'm like 90% sure.
Sumi ink.
Yeah, so it's fun. So yeah, this is what the car looked like, in the beginning. I think it's probably when you saw it, or did you see it only after that?
No, I got it. That's where I seen it.
Yeah, so we got that. This is the other part of the front, so I got you saw this snake there we were looking at. That's the pit viper, right? And we had that experience in Costa Rica. So my wife drew that. So the women are kind of front and center in the car. This says write what's left, but it has them on the reverse side. So you can write with your hand. You can say you're writing what's left of what's been, destroyed to recreate it. There's a lot of ways to interpret it, right? And so this F here, which stands out, is this feel. Like I just kind of woke up one day and had that kind of image in my eyes or head. And it was like feel, so like an electric eel kind of thing, right? And it just was there like a flash, and you're like, okay, well, that's the first thing I did. I woke up, scribbled it on, and I was like, that was fun. So like, have some fun with that. And then so Pablo's brother, he created this, in stitching
I didn't
form,
even
right?
notice that.
So that's what he was taking all that time to cut out all
And
those
there.
little notches, which was ridiculous to watch, like the precision and detail these guys do here. And so then there's some plays in here for, work or other stuff as well. You got plays on 23, which has your jump man in there, right? My kid's super into basketball as well. You got 32 with kind of Bruce Lee and Bill Hicks, and you also have chromosomes of this said quantity, you know, and then this is kind of plays on pendulums and interpretations of zeros and ones, right? Whether you consider them the same or not is always a fun, you know, contemplation. And this here is like on the hood of the car, you got to put it a little bit, you know, I think that we're quality quantum mechanics, right? We're our own sort of, you know, supercomputers, and we have exponential potential if allowed to be. Like all the stuff around us is cool, and these AI things and some of the technology you were showing me, it's like you're keeping up with that, but that allows you then to create all these new amazing innovative techniques, right? So I mean, like, if you want to tell them for a second about it, or yourself or me, explain it even more, like that 3D stuff you're getting into. You just did a recording for the foosball, right?
Messing with 3D AI scans, so we're able to take 2D objects, well, 3D objects, and pretty much display it into a video format, which would be 2D, and show the 3D aspects of it, you know, instead of having to film it from all different angles. You could scrub through a video that you took and use the camera angles from all different angles and be able to manipulate it however you want, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's almost like not needing a drone anymore, which is funny because drones were replacements for helicopters, etc. Now with some of this new technology like that, I was like, I don't know.
What's cool too is people are getting drones now and doing videos
with that
of a building, for instance, and they're able to do a 3D scan now of the building and just be able to pick whatever camera angle from the drone that they took through the 3D scan. It's pretty awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah, so it's like these iterations and applications we don't know unless we.
Look, there's a
3D you can show
it.
That's
so we did this one of a foosball table. So this is a 3D video that I took. I took a normal video and it took the information and it scanned it and coded it into this 3D video. And I'm able to take this clip now and grab any spot in the video where I want, and pretty much it's called a keyframe, and continue to create these keyframes to create camera movements, and it's pretty neat. So it's pretty nuts.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
They did a good job.
Well, if you look at it, that bird you have on there almost kind of looks like the one on the side of the car. Really done. So that's fun. There's a blue heron. I don't know what that one actually is for that though, but it looks similar, which is cool. So that's obviously
sick.
Crazy, man.
I'm waiting for it to finish so we could.
Yeah. So this, so this is a, you know, you got to throw Pablo in the mix because he really is the one who strung together premises and ideas and people, right? If he's not doing that, there's no one who has any experience of this stuff, you know? So it's super cool to see. That's what it was like again before, and now you're seeing kind of where it's coming to. So, you know, this is fun because, you know, the rabbit gets larger, right? And grows when it's more dark, right? Is where we have it. And these will all be reflective. We may mess with that a little bit because we can put some new concepts today just on the spot. But the rabbit's kind of looking up there trying to figure it out, right? And he's trying to reach for this. And, you know, again, the play on, you know, why so serious? And you got the Joker up there, which is Pablo's kid did that one, right? You know, and so, you know, obviously Sirius is a star, so I like to do it kind of with a play on that. But, you know, I actually took,
I don't know, everywhere I travel, I always see that star follow me.
there we go. See,
Like
keeps
for
coming.
real, that star is specifically Sirius.
So cool.
One
That's
of the-
amazing.
One of the brightest in the sky.
See, we learned something new here.
Yeah.
So then I took, Boy had a graphic, he did it, you know, for the Year of the Rabbit for High Fructose, you know, the art magazine. And so then he said I could borrow it. And so I took it and kind of redid and reimagined part of it. And so that kind of plays through and in there, right? So it's all like, okay, cool, this is amazing stuff, but we can always just mess with it a bit. Doesn't mean it's any better, it's just different, right? And so my daughter, I asked her to put we on the back of the car. So she actually did what turned from me into we, right? So it's because the concept shouldn't just be, you know, I don't like me necessarily, but like a me, we, or a we, me works perfectly because that is combinative. It's keeping others in mind as well as self, right? You can't say no to self, but you also can say yes and include others, right? If you tie those two in together, we have enough memes. Those are only fun because they bond people's mentalities, right? So like me thing is always a bad attitude, right? No one likes that. You're taught that, you know, from a young age, or told that at least, right? And so so yeah, this is just playing with random and then me and then we. It's a reflection here, you know, mountains and crevices, right? Yeah, it's you and me. There we go. See, reimagine it right there on the spot. That's the coolest part about it, right? That's like a little toucan, but that's two in Spanish is what? Two is you, right? So you can, like, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be like a kind of little play, right? So my name, if you write it, I have wrote it for Boy and Avi, and they were like, you know, if you turn that to their side, because they were looking from the other angle from where I drew it, that's Chris, Chris.
Yeah.
It looks like a snake, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, well, that's cool. So why not throw that on there as well, right? So, my dad, he likes coral snakes. They can be deadly, but beautiful as hell. And so his daughter Alana, which is, obviously, I guess that might actually be a lunar thing too, which is fun. I didn't realize that. I probably should have. That that she's got that, and my daughter's Nala, right? So it's Nala and Lana, and they're both got kind of features in the car, which is fun. And this I did with the guys you met the other day. Well, you met Austin, right? So
Yeah.
he and Andre, we put this together, and it's each of us putting it. I got row, which looks like a wave in the lowercase. We got the ampersand and the play here, so that's a lot of fun. And then the Weaver thing is trying to weave
Yeah, I seen
stories and people and things together, right? So it's
that.
nice. So it's like the whole point is, how do you bring together stories that can help and work with and benefit people, above and beyond just talking about yourself, which I think even bores the people who do that, right? I think no one wants to talk about themselves. Everyone like, oh, all people do is talk about themselves, because they're probably trying to connect and they don't know what else to talk about. As a point of contact. I don't like talking about myself. It does nothing for me, right? It's much more interesting to see and learn from other people.
Other stories, yeah.
It's like, yeah, we want new. You don't want that same monotone thing. It's like listening to a song. You could listen to that thing on repeat. You'll be wanting to jump out that window after the fifth time of it, right?
Yeah.
No matter how good it is, at some point in time, you're gonna say, I need to change.
I'm gonna switch
And
it
just a
up.
little shift, right? And so a lot of fun there. And so this is the back of the car. And then I guess you were conceptualizing kind of different ways to look at it and see it, I think, as well, right? As well as from the hood, which was a cool way I didn't ever perceive.
Where's this going, on the bed?
This is going to be on the trunk bed, right? So this, I effectively was with people at a party,
Mhm.
and I accuse myself sometimes and just take notes, but I take notes while interacting intermittently, right? Because I kind of pay attention and do that within reason, right? And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to spend these balance of the day, which was like 8 hours, and conceptualize and put prompts, right?
Right.
And then kind of think of things and how to do them. So then I spent the next day effectively and did like 240 images effectively. And so those are all like little tattoos. And so
Yeah, these
my-
all look like flash tattoos.
yeah, so it's like my buddy Alonzo, he and I were in like Oaxaca, and we met this guy, Dr. Lacra. And it was like, he was an artist, but he was a tattoo guy also. And so like since that moment, I was just like, that's actually a good way to use like that inspiration from the guy we had with him, because it was one of the coolest experiences. My buddy wanted to meet him always, ended up being able to meet him. And I was like, well, why not just tune with it a bit here and rock and roll? And it was a lot of fun, right? He was one of the most like playful, fun artists, and in the middle of nowhere, Oaxaca.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to have gone there a few years ago, then COVID hit, but we went for this, for a festival, right? For how do you call it? The mezcal festival, Amares
Okay.
festival. And it was just like super cool, fun experience. And so I was like, well, let's just mess with this, right? So actually, a couple of weeks later, or a week or two later, I actually told the people who were there, like, listen, like you were part of that creation, whether you know it or not, And so my daughter has a couple of things in there, but you'll see we have extra ones placed around the car because there was extra flow over, right? This is from Avi. It's the skull splitter. So the skull splitter thing is like, in my family, we have apparently a person in our past on my Jones side with my grandpa who has the skull in the front, right? Which is part of the reason the skull splitter is there, which I keep forgetting to note. And so the skull splitter guy there, Avi kind of imagined that and put it in there, but I don't view it as trying to kill you. It's trying to get through to your head and open it up to let your imagination be released.
Open the mind.
It's like, you don't want to use any force. That's never the intent, nor should it be, right? But if you can get people to open their minds and work with each other and recreate and reimagine it, that's what I would like to imagine was part of it. Yeah, the skull splitter guy. So I actually got him. He's supposed to go on there in another place too. So Avi, he's the one who wrote "You Are My Sunshine" on the sides of the car that my kids saw every day when they opened up the car, right? And that was the whole fun part of it, was like he was able to leave his mark, right? And this time he doesn't even know this is going in there, right? So that's kind of the fun. It's like,
It's Easter eggs.
yeah. So it's like, that's the whole thing. Have some fun with it, right?
Yeah.
We have a
got
new iteration for a car, for the third version with you, with the way it came out, which is amazing, and
it.
look,
Yeah, if
look
you-
at what you're wearing. Look how colorful and fun and playful that is.
yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing. The next iteration should be playful. It should be a journey. It should be kind of what we can and should experience in life.
Yeah, if you really do it, I'd love to see the the
Oh,
process.
you're part of it though.
For sure.
You're gonna be part of
So
it.
where are all these going now? These extra ones that
Those are the ones that are gonna go everywhere you just saw in the car, right? So those are all getting placed on like tattoos.
I know, I'm saying, like, where on the car are they going? Where do you want them? Like Bruno added that one, I added one.
Oh, what's it called? They were going to, yeah, which was the one, where's the one you had in there? It's in there somewhere, right?
It's underneath these flaps.
Ooh,
Send it in there.
he had the idea in mind, but we might be able to place them ourselves where we feel makes sense. I
Yeah.
think that, I don't know where he's gonna put the one that Bruno did for Metro Raps, right?
That's one right there.
And then I don't know where he was gonna put yours. Because he was gonna figure out where it made sense, but I think, let's just see what it looks like together, and then we go from there.
Shit, I
So,
had to guess the spot, looking at the images of the car.
so I think. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm not sure. It'll be cool though. Part of the mystery, right? And then we're adding a couple more in, so it'll be even more fun. So,
It'd be cool if there was a program that you could shuffle like locations on a car and it just randomly places it for you.
there you go, right? See, these are just random idea generations you don't have unless you do it.
Print out of your car and actually get a dart and just throw a dart.
That'd be hilarious. Maybe that's what to do with the next one, right? Which is the point you're gonna place and it could be looping around like,
Mhm.
hey, I could do that. Cardboard, whatever you want to go with is fun. All right, well, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, man.
All right.
I look forward to the process and the smiles and joy that people will get out of seeing your car.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
All right,
Later, guys.
cool. Bye-bye.